Hello and welcome to the Hardworking Man Podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Heath.
So we just finished filming a video with the Dyna processor, which took us 2 days because we didn't get out there in time. And once we started doing all of the intro stuff, I'm like, it's too dark. We are running out of daylight. Could we turn the lights on? Yes, but that's not great video. So
I like doing some nighttime ones, but yeah,
I
like the
know.
fading light versus nighttime is different, I think.
Yeah, so we were like, close it up, which is annoying to me because if I'm just home during the day, whatever, like if I'm not like going and actively meeting clients or having to see people, I don't put makeup on. I don't do anything with my hair. So then to go film, I do makeup and hair because the camera is not very forgiving. And even though I have
She looks fine
a
without
lot,
it.
it just looks bad in cameras. Like in person, it's a different story. I look very different in person than I do in a camera. Like the camera just washes everything out and it's not great. So I do hair and makeup, and then how long were we even out there for? Like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it took a long time getting all the camera gear ready, the mics, the safety equipment, all that stuff. Then we get out there and start filming, and we're like, this isn't going to work. And it was the second out of the last 3 videos that we went to film, and it didn't work because the other was the all-wood that wouldn't run right. So it gets frustrating, and it happens to everybody. We all have those days, and for some reason, I don't know if it's the attitude of you or what it is, or if just some days are bad days, but where just one thing after another goes wrong, and we all have those days. I know Elliot from Everything Elliot just had one of those days, out running his tractor in the woods trying to clean it up, and the tractor broke down, and then it eats up a day or two trying to figure it out, getting it out of the woods. I've spent 2 or 3 days trying to figure out that all wood, and I think I might have it figured out, but now I'm waiting for parts that are back ordered. Like, it's just
So you go out, you think, okay, I have this amount of time. When we first had the all wood not work for us, we were going to go golfing for our son's birthday. So we're like, okay, first we have like this amount of time to film this video. We'll go out, we'll do this. Heath gets it all set up, ready. I'm inside getting ready. And then I come out with all the gear and we start filming like the little, like the B-roll intro stuff. And then the machine just starts doing its thing.
It's the Honda, the new Honda fuel injected engine, and it's missing on one cylinder randomly after it gets warmed up. I don't know
Yeah,
if
so
it's
you
a coil
spent like
or
an
what.
hour. I'm just sitting out there watching because I can't do anything. We spent like an hour of you trying to mess with it, and then you're like, we can't film. We're not going to film. And then, we ran
I got
out
upset.
of time.
I handle it differently from day to day, situation to situation. It all depends on, I guess, my time frame, like how much time I have, what's going on, how tired I am, if I'm hangry or not. I get hangry bad. Like if I'm hungry and tired, like it doesn't take much to get me a little bit off.
No, he's like a toddler.
No, I'm not like a toddler, because I can usually rein it back in, maybe.
How would you know? You are in.
I've had 4 toddlers.
You're in another world. You're like a toddler.
I get upset
it's
sometimes.
It's like somebody better feed this kid right now. It is not good.
But then there's other times where stuff goes wrong all day, and I take it perfectly in stride, and I'm just like a role model for how it should be done. But that's not always the case. Like some days I'm just like, man, this just is not a day for me, man. Like the other day when I was getting that wood and my tire blew and I didn't have a jack, and I was like, man, I actually looked at the positive. I said, I'm glad that this blew when I was pulling into a gas station instead of on the side of the expressway.
Yeah.
So I was Mr. Positive, and you weren't there to witness it.
That's probably why you were Mr. Positive. I wasn't there.
Yeah, maybe you get me grumpy, and then it just fires and rolls. But I guess the situation you're currently in can make a big difference. Like if you're stressed about other stuff, like whether it be finances or work or whatever, and then stuff goes wrong, it's harder to control your emotions maybe. And the same like when I'm deer hunting. If I have a lot of time to deer hunt and I'm having a good season and I'm seeing a lot of deer, then more stuff seems to go right. Or if I have a day that it doesn't go right, like it's not a big deal. But if I'm pressed for time to hunt because of work or life or whatever, or I'm not seeing a lot of deer or whatever, and then something goes wrong, like it ruins the day and maybe the next day, just because it's like it's more impactful, I guess, if that makes sense. So your
Yeah.
situation, I think, changes how you react to situations.
Well, that's true. I used to, when the kids were little, and I'd be like short with them, have no patience, be grumpy. It usually was because I was mad at you first. It had nothing to do with the
It's
kids.
always, it always comes back to my fault.
I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I'm just so grumpy because your dad made me mad, and then now you
I don't know how
poor
I'm always the
kids
scapegoat.
get it. Well, the scapegoat, it was me. I was the mean one, but it was because I was already angry about something else.
Yeah, maybe because you were hangry.
I was angry. I don't get hangry like you. Even I just get weakened if I'm too tired. I don't get hangry.
Hangry is a real thing, though.
Keith
But yeah,
is within the last few years. Maybe you should get your blood sugar checked and see what your numbers are because it must dip so low for you to get as it's
it's like those Snickers
almost, yeah, it's
commercials.
funny. It's like almost funny that you get that way and that it's so predictable now. It's like, oh my gosh, when did you eat last?
Because especially when I'm off work, on my days off, I'm usually working from the time I get up till the time I go to bed. And a lot of times I don't eat because I'm just busy and I go, go, go,
Oh
go,
yeah.
go.
His favorite thing to say is, "Do you know what I
You know
ate
what I ate
today?"
today? And it's usually not much, if anything. And she doesn't like me to tell her
Then he
that. But
tallies. "You all I ate today,
that's all
I
I ate.
just had a Snickers and I had this." And it's like, okay, well you're a grown adult. Why did you not feed
Because
yourself?
I got so much to do in so little time. I don't got time to eat. Like,
That's why the kids, if you're like, we're gonna go to the land and work, they're like, no. I've had to teach them to bring food because he won't feed them the whole entire
I
day.
usually
Your
stop.
brother does the same thing. Your
I
brother does
stop at the
it.
gas station usually, and I'm like, get something, a candy
No
bar, a
food, no
soda.
water. They're like, we are dying out here.
We're pressed for time. We got to work. There ain't time to eat.
So I'm like, you kids, if you're going with dad, you better pack snacks and water because he's not going to feed you until you're all done. And then you'll probably pick up pizza at the corner store.
Yeah, that's a reward when you're done. You get to eat.
Right. Which
Put your
I don't
work in.
know. That must be a man thing because I would not do that. I would be like, okay, we're going to take a break and go get some food.
Yeah, so here's the problem though, especially when there's more people. Like if you go up to the property to work for 8 hours and you're like, all right, let's go eat, and you order pizza and you go grab it and whatever. That's like an hour plus easily out of that day. That's why I don't do it, because if I have 8 hours, I need to get 10 hours worth of work done. And if I turn that 8 into 6.5 because of a lunch break, like, man, you're just killing your production.
But the people that are producing your work are diminishing in quality from their lack of nutrients.
No, they're training to be a machine like me. So when they get older, they can do the same
They
thing.
can get hangry. You've conditioned your body to now just revolt against you. It's like, I need food. It is like those Snickers commercials where they turn into Aretha Franklin, all sassy if they don't have food. That's Heath, 100%.
That is another thing, like, to how upset or easily upset you can get when stuff doesn't go right. Is like when I drive up to the property, it's a 45, 50-minute drive. And if I get there and I forgot stuff or something doesn't work right, or, that's way worse, because now you spend a
Oh, yeah.
minimum of 2 hours on the road and an hour or two, whatever, trying to figure it out, or you have to run to the back to the store and get something. And you can eat a whole day up running to stores to get stuff you forgot when you're doing a project, or
Yes.
going and getting a flat tire fixed. Took us over 3 hours the other day.
Yeah,
And
they
then
still didn't fix
2 days
it.
later, it's flat again. They just rotated our tires and put new sensors in for the air
Yeah.
pressure, and they forgot to fix the flat, which was the main reason we were there in the first place.
So now I'm having to drive the hardworking man tour van all around town because
I've been working overtime
my
instead
car
of
doesn't have a tire.
instead of getting the car back in. And
I
she
mean,
hasn't brought it in. She could bring it in if
I
I air it
suppose
up.
if you
But
aired it up, but that just scares me. I don't want it
it's good. It holds
going
for a couple
flat or
days.
popping on me. I don't want to deal with that on the expressway.
I drive fast. It'll have less time to pop.
I already brought it to the tire store once. I don't want to have to go back again.
But yeah, so stuff going wrong. I mean, I don't know. It happens to everybody.
It does happen to everybody. So, like, I don't know. There's a lot of people that keep it real on YouTube, but there's a lot that just edit out all the bad
Yeah,
stuff.
like you're like, man, nothing ever goes wrong for that guy. Like,
It's like,
we just shot a video today, and I was bragging about something that I did, and while I'm talking about it and filming it, it did the opposite. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's the first time that happened, but I'm not going to hide it because it is what it is, and now I got to
know.
figure out how to fix that. So,
Well, and I hate when I make, like, with the processor, we idled it down because we were talking. So
and this wasn't on film, but
this wasn't on
I
film.
was doing
'cause
something
we were
else
just,
at the time.
Yeah, we were just talking whatever amongst ourselves, really. I don't know if we had even filmed.
Well, we were
you
filming the
talking.
tractor work, and then
Oh.
she went back to the processor to
Just to
just finish off
finish
the
it
log
up.
that was on there,
And I didn't think to
idle it back
idle
up.
it back up, and then it started cutting, and it got stuck halfway in, and it's a big giant log. And then I was like, what? And then it goes to, I went to like raise it up, and the chain came disconnected from the bar, and I was like, what is going on here? And then I pulled it back, and then the whole thing tipped up, and it was stupid.
But normally, if we were doing that while we were filming, we wouldn't cut that out because stuff happens, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of people have said, thanks for showing real life,
I'm
because
like, and I hate when stuff like that happens because it happens to literally everybody. But when we show it, then it's just
you'll get people are
everybody
judgmental and
comments
tell you what you did wrong.
bad things. Yeah.
Whatever. It
They're
is
like,
what it is, man. We're
Shouldn't
human.
let that lady touch anything. She's stupid and knows nothing. I'm like, okay. I do know what happened. It's not like I was like, oh my gosh, what even went wrong? It was like, oh, I realized instantly. I didn't idle it back up. So obviously I'm not that big of an idiot. Thank you.
Wow. Somebody's
just-
foreseeing
I know.
comments that aren't even going to happen
This
because
is
it
what
wasn't
we
even
do.
filmed.
I told him that the other day. I've been like,
Oh, she has conversations in her head,
not the
imaginary
only
conversations
I feel like it's the
with
only way to be like,
confrontations with
yeah.
people that she doesn't even have. She's just imagining them
I'm
and what she would
imagining
say.
the confrontation, how it would go, like predicting what they would say, just so I know what I would say, and then I'm like mad about it, and it didn't even
Yeah,
happen.
and then I get home and she tells me all about it, and then not only does she tell me about it, but she uses other people's voices when she tells me, like, I was gonna say this, and like I'm like, what are you talking about? None of this happened.
I retell if I had
Or
an
a phone
experience with
conversation.
you.
Oh man.
Yeah, like I will. I am a very observant person. When I talk to you, I notice all of like how you move your body, how your mouth moves, your eye. Like I notice all that without even trying. I just pick up all these cues for some reason, and then I hear your voice. And then when I retell a story, like if it's somebody with a southern accent, I have to tell it in that exact southern accent that I heard it in. Like I can't just say it in a normal voice. In my voice, I have to retell it in their voice and their accent, their tone. If it's a man, then my voice goes low. I have to do it. I don't know why. I cannot retell a story without taking on the character of the person.
This is true.
So his mom always laughs because if I like tell a story, like say something I was talking to my mom about, and I'll like retell his mom, she just dies laughing because she knows my mom, and she's like, you sound exactly like her. Like it's just so funny to hear you talk like you say exactly the way she talks. And I just can't help it. It makes a good story, right?
I guess.
He hates it. He hates it, especially if it's like somebody who's annoying that I'm retelling a story about, because he's like, don't make me suffer through
Yeah,
that.
she'll come home. I was just on the phone with one of my friends, and like maybe a friend that I'm not a big fan of or whatever, and this happened, and they asked me this and that, and she makes me relive the whole. She's like, it was so painful, but then instead of just taking that and bottling it up and saving the rest of the world from it, she puts it on us and she's like, if I had to go through it, so should you. Like, what sense does that make? I wasn't even here, and it ain't even my friend.
Well, that's what you get. You want to say, oh, you're my best friend. Guess what? You're privy to these best friend stories. You can listen.
I get them.
Like a friend. So there you go.
I'm a good listener.
It's just funny. It's like one of those funny little quirks that I have that I'm like, I don't know why I do it, but I cannot not do that.
I will say though, like, I think sometimes I'm a good listener, but I'm bad at being a listener to her, because sometimes I'm just supposed to listen and not talk, and other times I'm supposed to talk but I always talk when I'm supposed to be listening, and I don't talk when I'm supposed to talk. So if I talk, she's like, "You don't even care what I had to say. You're just going to say what you have to say." And I'm like, "No, I was engaging in the conversation." And then other times she'll be talking, and then I won't say anything, and she's like, "Are you even listening to me? Don't you have anything to say?" So I'm like, I don't even know. Do I talk? Do I not talk? Like I don't. I'm still learning at this after almost 30 years.
Yeah, you shouldn't be still learning after this.
Yeah, I don't know the rules.
There are definite rules where you do not talk over top of me and interrupt. That's just a basic conversation rule.
Sometimes I don't. It's just my brain does.
That is the only rule that actually gets you in trouble is when you talk over top of me, or if I'm like, "Hey, so I ran into so and so," and you say something, I go, and I have to stop and pause, and we were talking about, "Oh yeah," and you interrupt, and then I'm like, I can't even get out one sentence because you've continued to interrupt everything I've said. Like, I'm just going to leave. I just don't even want to talk anymore. And that's fine. I literally don't even want to talk anymore. And then he's like, "Oh, don't be like that. Like, I'm the one who did all of that leading up to it." It's like, no, clearly this is not going well.
Well, if you study ADHD, you will know that someone is actively listening to you. If they have ADHD and they constantly interject into your conversation, that's a positive sign that they are listening to you, because you fire things in our brains and then our mouth spits it out. So that means that we're actively listening and engaging. And if we're not talking, unless I'm doing it actively, thinking about not talking, if we're not, it's because we're not paying attention. So ADHD listeners are different than a regular listener. I think that's something that you should study.
Yeah. Well,
I saw it on the internet.
He also does this thing where I'm talking and I see him do this, like, light bulb.
Yeah, and I consciously don't talk.
And then he just sits there.
And then she'll say, like, just say it. I know you want to say it. What are you trying to say?
He does a certain thing with his mouth.
Because it went off, and I use self-control.
And I'm like, you are not listening to anything I'm saying at this point. You are just trying to remember what you think is very important to add. Just say it. Just say it.
This is what I'm talking about. I don't know the rules.
But the funny thing is,
if I say it,
I don't have this issue with anyone else.
No one else has what I have.
You. So it's very trying at times.
I would think you would learn to adapt.
Yeah, well, I'm a slow learner, apparently.
I've tried to adapt, and that's what you just talked about. When I purposely don't say what I have to say, I can't help that my brain's thinking it and that everything changes, and you read it in me. That's nothing
funny.
I can do.
The other day, I had this realization when he was really super frustrating me in our communication, and I went, you go to work and have to work with other people who are subjected to you. Those poor people. Nobody knows how to deal with you.
They do.
Oh my gosh.
They all love me.
I'm like, they have to deal with you not hearing anything they say because
they know I can't hear because I work in a noisy environment a lot of times,
and
so they know it, so it's understood.
You're constant interrupting. You're constant just. The hardest part is just the not hearing things. I don't know. I was like, oh my gosh, other people have to deal with him. That's really funny.
Well, my hearing's bad and my focus is bad. So when I have to try to listen to something, I have to focus. And if there's background noise or a lot going on, I can't focus, so I can't hear. So it's just a compounded problem.
Yeah. From
the military, from shooting guns, from working on jets, from the jet fuel. I think that's where a lot of my focus problems come from, that jet fuel. JP8, I worked with it, I wore it, I bathed in it, I stood in the exhaust of it, and they are coming out with more and more evidence that they've known for years that it's bad for your brain. So a lot of what is going on now hasn't always gone on.
No, and I think that is true, which is like...
But it's nothing I can do about it.
No.
Like, it is what it is at this point.
Well, and it's something that, like, it wasn't that way with us 10 years ago. But it's gotten exponentially worse, and
because I went full time and I went active duty, and
it's just become so different. That's the thing. Like, you have a reasonable expectation of who you are, of how you interact, of, you know, your role in the relationship, your role in the household, and then it's not the same. So it's like, I have these expectations for you to be this way and act this way and do these things, and then it's so far different that I'm like, who even are you? Like, it's not anything.
Well, it's not easy for me either. Like
it
it's
keeps
frustrating.
changing. It keeps becoming different. So it's like, I expect you to be this way because that's who you've always been. And then you're not. So I'm like, what the heck? It's like, it's just, you don't know. You don't realize that what it could be causing, because it's like, why are you acting like that? Why are you answering that way or behaving this way? It's because you don't have any control over it, because you don't even know that you're doing something different, because your brain's screwed up from the JP8. So
Sometimes I realize it, but I still can't. Like, I don't even know. It's just bad. Like, I'll go to do the simplest task, like say put on a pair of socks, and I'll get one sock on, and then I'll see something, and before I put the other sock on, I'll be putting chapstick on, holding a sock in my hand, and I'm like, what are you doing? You were putting your socks on. And I'll put the chapstick down and go to put my other sock on, and then I'll see my wallet, and I'll go get my wallet and put it in my pocket, and then I'm set my sock down, and then I'm sitting there with one sock on.
You can't find
like,
it.
And it's in the bathroom on the sink because I went to brush my teeth or whatever.
Where'd my
like,
sock go? Have you seen my sock?
I can literally lose a drink like while I'm drinking it. Like I'll take a soda and I'll be drinking it, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and then I find it someplace I don't even remember going, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, that's right, I was doing this and I saw this and it reminded me of that and it led me to this and then that led me to this, and that's how my soda got up in the bedroom on the nightstand when I was in the kitchen getting ready to go out into the garage. Like, I don't know, man. It's I can like put it all back together, but it's only once I see it again that it triggers the memories. I don't even know.
Which I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like this at 44 years old. What are you going to be like?
It's just going to get more interesting and more
64.
exciting the longer we go. Like, it's just going to get better. Like, you'll never know what to expect or where I'll be. You're probably going to start losing me soon.
I might. I'm going to be like, has anybody seen Heath? I'm going to put it out on Facebook Marketplace.
Missing
if
40.
My husband shows up, he looks like this.
48-year-old man went missing.
Him.
He went to get the mail and didn't come back. That was 3 days ago.
If this man tries to buy something for you, no. The answer is no. He shouldn't be out of the house right now.
Oh, jeez.
We'll have to put air tags in you to keep track of you.
I think we could just put an action cam on me and people could just live a year in the life of. I'll just live stream it the whole time and they'll be like, what's he doing now? Like, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
There's people coming over. Why is he cleaning the gutters? Like, what is going on?
That's like a man thing I hear all the time.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I'm better at it than most men. I can do more things that are. I just watched some
reel. They were like, maybe you shared it with me, and it was like,
yeah, I did.
Men, you do not need to be planting a food plot behind the shed when people are coming over. No one's gonna go look at that.
It was I just told my husband we have 30 people going over, and he just came back home with a load full of gravel and was grading the driveway. Well, yeah, it probably needed to be addressed.
No, but that has truly happened. Like, we need to get this ready. We have hosting people, whatever, and then all of a sudden I hear the chainsaw. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That is not what anyone asked.
The tree was probably in the way.
There is no reason for that. So
there is a reason. It's because I went to the garage to get something and I saw a chainsaw and remembered there was a tree I had to cut down.
Right. All right. Well, we gotta get going. I gotta go.
Paint a parking
space. The seniors at our high school get to paint a design of their choosing. That's not inappropriate. On their parking space, and
that's their reserved parking for the year.
That's their parking spot for the whole year. So Nathan's, we got halfway done yesterday, and then we ran out of time, and the paint was all clumpy. So we gotta hopefully fix that problem. So I gotta get, and you gotta go fill some wood stands. So
yeah. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure to check out Hardworking Man on YouTube. Check out hardworkingmanoutdoors.com. It's our website. We've got shirts, hats, stickers, different stuff available, and just what we do from time to time. Links to some of the products we use. A way for you to contact us. You can send a message through there. So check that out. We love the comments, the thumbs up. Share the videos if you think other people could benefit from listening to our life stories and situations.
We are also on Spotify, so if you like to listen to podcasts while you're driving and you just want to listen without watching on YouTube, then this will be also on Spotify.
And some other things too.
Yeah, like anywhere you can listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, I don't know.
Everywhere. But check it out.
Everywhere that has a podcast, it gets linked up to those too. But
thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys again on the next one.
Bye.